All right. There we go. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. So right now you're only seeing Shelby and I. We're going to start out the podcast tonight just letting you guys know how appreciative and thankful we are for you guys showing us support this week. This is our 5th episode tonight, which reminds me, Shelby, I need to change the title. If you guys got our notifications and you guys are in here right now, you guys are the bomb. So welcome. We will talk a little bit more about who we're gonna have on, but I did want to let you guys know we are now uploading our full episodes to YouTube. So you guys can do !YouTube in the chat if you want that link. Give us a follow over there. And then we're also, of course, on Instagram and Facebook now at Loud Proud Sobbing. So you guys can find us there. And welcome. Hi, Tamara. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Escape. Hi, babe. So yeah, Shelby, you want to talk about a little bit about what we're talking about tonight?
Hello, guys. Okay, so tonight we have some guests that, again, are near and dear to my heart. Of course, like putting this together, I initially had to reach out to the people that I knew and knew that they trusted me to bring them onto something like this. So we do have a large amount of our family, of my family and my friends that are going to be making their ways over here. And that being said, we really want to urge everybody to send us a message on Instagram or Facebook or here, get in touch with us. Like, we definitely want to feature more people from different places of all different backgrounds. And so we are constantly looking for new people to feature. And I just also want to point out with that, we have a tendency as humans to think that none of us are special. And I think that every single one of us is special. And like, everybody's story deserves to be out there in some way. And so please get in touch with us. That being said, we have talked a little bit about my adoption. And when I was 14 years old, a freshman in high school, I received a message from my little sister, who was supposed to be here tonight, but unfortunately she ended up being sick. And so she couldn't make it. But my little sister had sent me a message on MySpace and was like, hey, if so-and-so are your parents, I think you're my sister. Crazy. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, Mom, look at this weird message I got. And my mom, like, she just kind of like, visibly, I could tell that she was acting weird about it. But I've always had this just huge amount of trust for my parents. And so even though she yes, shout out to Tom from MySpace, absolutely.
I know, I want to say hi, Lee. That's like one of our OG friends, Quincy and I. So thanks for being here. You're so sweet for popping in.
Welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I knew that my mom was kind of like acting weird, but I just was like, whatever, like, I'm gonna trust her. Like, maybe my initial thought was even like, maybe my parents had another baby and they gave it up for adoption. Because for me growing up, like, there were times where we didn't know what we were gonna eat, or our power was turned off, or things like that. We had like a paycheck to paycheck, I think, standard American life. And And so in any case, I found out that I not only have one sister, but I have an older sister who will be in here tonight.
Yes.
And I am the middle. And then we have my sister's brother, and he will also be here. He might be a little bit late, but his name is Kohl, and I think everybody can or will be able to see that he has the best eyebrows. And if you guys need an eyebrow person, we're gonna start pimping him out for eyebrow doing
better tonight. Oh man. So yeah, we're gonna be exploring Shelby's family. They have a complex dynamic, so I'm really interested to find out more and kind of find out, what that was like growing up and how it affects all of them today. So, there's a lot of people out there. My dad, he didn't grow up with his biological dad in the house. He was adopted, and adoption is, something I feel like isn't talked about enough. You know what I mean? It's definitely interesting. So we'll get more into that. And should we bring Dwana in now? What do you think?
Let's bring in Dwana.
All right, so Dwana is on her way. Bringing her in now, and while her camera loads, Shelby, go ahead and introduce her. Hey, girl.
Hello. Everybody, this is Dwana. Dwana, this is everybody, and who knows who's here, but hi.
Hello, watchers.
We just want to start out real quick, Dwana. Who are you? What do you do? What do you love? And what's your life been like?
So, I'm Dwana. Recently, Dwana Haro. I just got married last month.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I am actually a child support specialist. So I call up baby mamas, baby daddies, and ask for that money for child support cases. I love what I do.
That's really hard.
I really like my customers. Yeah, it's complex. I mean, you're talking about people's money and people's children, so that's like the most important things in life ever.
Right.
So it's complex, but I really enjoy what I do because I get to help people. I will be honest and say that I think that our child support system is pretty biased, and I like to help people that are paying child support navigate through our sketchy system.
For sure. What way do you feel like it's biased? Like towards more men having to pay child support?
Definitely.
Explain that.
Definitely more men pay child support. I mean, it goes both ways. I see some women sometimes, and it seems like most women that pay child support tend to be the more angry ones. I think women kind of get like a almost like more of an embarrassment, like deadbeat mom. They think we're calling them deadbeat mom or whatever the case may be. But it's definitely biased towards the men. I mean, when it comes to custody, which ties in so much with child support, it's just hard. It's hard
tell me if this is true, because I love my court shows, right? It's like a guilty pleasure.
Me too.
I used to watch this lady, her name's Lauren Lake on YouTube. I was like binging it. She said on her show one time that men, if you sign that birth certificate, even if you know you're not the dad, you're legally obligated to pay child support for 18 years. Do you know if that's true?
So it depends on what state you're in. I don't really know about other states, but in California, signing of the birth certificate actually has nothing to do with child support or paternity whatsoever.
Ooh.
So not to get like nerdy, but there's 3 different ways that child support or that paternity can be established. So either one, you're married when you become pregnant. Dad is legally obligated, or actually husband, even if mom cheats, is legally obligated and considered dad.
Wow, California.
Yes.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Girl, it's called marital presumption. It's crazy.
Woo, y'all better be careful.
Yeah. 2 is you can sign something called a voluntary declaration of paternity. That's dad saying, it's usually signed at the hospital or at the child support office saying, yes, this is my child, blah, blah, blah. Or 3, you can have a court order for child support against you that actually establishes paternity as well. So
Wow.
birth certificate in California doesn't mean anything in regards to
Okay.
paternity or child support.
And
That's
one thing
crazy.
too that I think some people don't know is that, like, you know, for me, I had my son without a partner being involved, and you know, I could not write a name. The father, whoever that is, whether that's like biologically the father or whether that's a partner to like take over that responsibility, whoever is there has the right to sign their name to that. But like, if I was there alone, unless I was married, if I was married, they would have that like presumption of fatherhood. But yeah, you can't just like write somebody's name and it be false. Like, they have to be there, has to be present.
Wow.
So,
That's insane.
yes, that is true. But one of the sucky things that I see is that, you know, we'll open a child support case if mom or dad are receiving cash aid from the state for the child. So when that happens, we open a child support case, and mom or dad can name name the other parent. The welfare department will ask, what is the other parent's name? Give us their information. And then we open a case against them without any information from the other party.
That's crazy.
Yes, and then we have to go
crazy
through
to
the
me.
process, and we have to find them, we have to serve them legally. They have an opportunity to file what's called an answer, basically agreeing or disagreeing to paternity. However, it just gets really fishy because it's like, I don't know about you guys, but when I receive mail, I don't look at that crap.
Half the
At least
time, no.
before I started with child support, like, I don't look at that crap, I don't read it. So if that happens and you happen to be named dad and you don't look at it, nothing, you're served paperwork and you just ignore it, you can legally
My
become
fucking
dad.
God.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
What's crazy too is that a lot of people don't take the time to like change their addresses in like the post office or anything
Yeah.
like that, and so you just got to think about how many people are probably affected by that. And oh Lord.
Yes. And you got to think about shady people. Like, I can have a baby and know that somebody's not dad, name that person, give a fake address. You know, if this
But I
person
hooked up
doesn't
with this
have
guy and he has a really good job, so.
exactly. And I
come
can give
on.
a fake address and then,
Yeah.
you know, but legally we have to serve them in person.
Gotcha.
And then they have 30 days from that date. But still, you got to understand, like, people who have no idea about how
Yeah.
it works or anything like that. Like, it's very easy when you're dealing with that kind of stuff, I would imagine, to ignore it. Or if mom's like, well, no, don't worry. If he asks mom, oh, don't worry, it's nothing, it's blah, 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 blah. You know, it can happen very often that somebody's paying child support that is not dad. And
Man,
so that's
be
what I
careful
like
who
to
y'all
do.
have babies with.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And read your mail. Read
Yeah,
your mail.
absolutely.
Keep your
Men's
address
rights
updated.
matter too, as we come off
Yes,
an
and
episode
that's how
of
I
gender
feel.
roles.
That's how I
it
feel.
is
Like,
true though. A lot of guys need to be
yeah.
informed and be careful too.
Yes. And they need the help too. Like, they need people, you know, child support department has a very bad, like, a negative connotation with it. And that's because we do really kind of treat men unfairly, I feel like. And that's why I have the passion for those people. Like, I like to help them navigate the system, understand what their options are, understand what they need to do. That's stressful, you know?
For
It's all
sure,
stressful.
yeah.
So I like when I can talk to somebody who's like super mad and like calls me super mad, what's going on, and I can explain it to them and let them understand that they have options and so on and so forth. So
well,
that's
good
what
for
I
you
like
for
about my job.
advocating for those cases and those people. That's awesome,
you.
and I love that you love what you do because that's really important. So actually, I see that Cole's in our waiting room. So
Yay.
everyone, our other guest has arrived. I'm gonna bring him in now. Sorry to make you wait.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi.
Wait, can you see me though?
Yes,
we can see you. Yeah,
You sound sold.
we can see
Okay,
you.
I did it. I can see you guys. Hi.
Hi. It's great to meet you.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Sorry I'm late. I
No, it's
rushed
okay.
here.
We made you wait because
Yeah.
we were like wrapping up that conversation too. So
Yeah.
thanks for
Oh,
being
okay. I
patient.
thought I did something wrong. I was like
No, you
rechecking.
didn't. No, not
Yeah.
at
Stop
all.
showing your age.
No,
No.
literally.
But everybody, this is Cole, and this is so like in terms of our family dynamics, I grew up as an only child, and Dwana is my biological half sister, if we put a hyphen in there, and then Cole is Dwana's step brother, right? That's the correct lingo. But like we don't
Yeah, yes,
actually
right.
exist with those hyphens in our world, but just so everybody
Right.
else can kind of have a contextual understanding. But yeah, Cole, like tell us a little bit about you and who you are, what you do, your life.
I'm a douchebag. I like to work out. Shut up, Sissy. I play video games a lot. My recharge time is with my partner of 11 years. His name is Aaron.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and Sissy's been my best friend growing up. She is the first person I ever came out to.
Kept that
That's
secret for a
awesome.
long time.
Oh, I love
Yeah, I should have
that.
said firsthand, I am gay. So she was the first person I told.
Gay
That's
and
so
proud.
amazing.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
still remember where we were when he told me everything. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Is that a story
Amazing.
we can dive into
Yeah,
from like
tell
both
me.
your
I
perspectives?
don't remember.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
wow,
okay.
This is
I
cool.
don't. Mm-mm.
So we lived across our elementary school. Shout out Lynn Crest. But anyway, and we would go, play after school, blah blah blah. And there was like a little neighborhood right outside of the school. You remember, Bubba? Like past the fields, there was like a little gate, and then there was a neighborhood back there. Well, anyway,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
were out like riding bikes, maybe, or scooters. I don't know what we were doing. And you just told me, and I think you started with like, I like boys. Like you didn't seem like completely sure of how to say it to me. I think I was in 5th grade, which means that you were like 97 or something. You're old.
Wait, what math are you doing?
I was like,
I know, like
97.
Can we go with
It's the
number
year
age?
97.
Number
If you're in
age.
5th grade, I was in 8th grade or freshman.
Okay. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that sounds right. Yeah. And you just told me, and then I just never said a word to anybody.
And like, how did that? I mean, you as a you said around 5th grade, right? Like, I mean, did you think anything of it, or was it just like the same thing as saying the sky's blue? Like, do you remember anything like that?
I think I already knew. I think I already knew, and like Bubba said, like we are so close. We are so close, and back then we were still so close. So it's like I didn't really think twice about it. I think I do remember thinking, like, what are people gonna say, and not because like I was like, oh no, I have a gay brother. I've never
Yeah.
felt that way in my life, but more so like, what
What's
is
he
my
gonna go
brother gonna
through?
deal with? Yeah, what
Mhm.
is he gonna deal with? Like, what are people gonna say? What are And I thought about, oh my god, how am I gonna keep the secret from our parents? I remember, but
They knew already. They
yeah, yeah, I think we all knew. But also,
Yeah.
I don't know, Bubba, you'll have to correct me, but so I had a really close friend, and it happened to be Cole's first boyfriend. So, and I think, how long had I known before you started dating him?
Yeah, I think you knew Joe like at least a year, 6 months to a year before I just started dating him.
So that was a while after you had already told me, right?
Oh, years. Yeah. I
Oh,
told you like when we were really, really young.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
And so, Cole, for you, like, I know you said that you don't quite remember, like, where you were and all of that for telling her, but do you have like a recollection of why you told her before anybody else?
We grew up, we lived in the same room, or like we grew up in the same room. Like, I think my parents obviously knew that like I was not interested in any kind of female. Otherwise, normally they do the whole like boys in this room, the girl gets her own room.
Oh, I
But
see. Yeah.
Oh, I
right, you
see.
know what I mean? Yeah. So I shared a room with Sissy for like almost 10 years
Yeah.
because it was all the way from almost elementary all the way up until high school. until I went to college.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
maybe
Something
Okay.
like
more
that.
10 years.
Yeah, because usually
Yeah.
that is abnormal for boys and girls to share rooms in families. At least from my
Yeah.
own like understanding. How many siblings did you guys have in your household?
A ton. A ton.
Oh
So
wow,
we have,
really?
we have our stepbrother Maurice, and then my blood brother Marcus, and then our stepsister Nikisha. But they were kind of in and out. They had it was a bad relationship with their mom, right? I'm not putting nervous and stuff.
Yeah, so the way that me and Cole are related is my dad and his mom have been together for 25, 30 years almost.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I came to live with them when I was like 8, I believe, and that was around the time that they got together. Cole has a biological older brother who is Marcus, who is my stepbrother. They share the same mom, same dad, and then we have different parents. So together it was always the three of us. But then I also have, from my dad, I have a sister Keisha and Maurice, who they have the same mom. I have the same dad, Cole's stepbrother and sister. Maurice came to live with us when he was like 16 or 17 years old due to issues with his
Mo
mom.
came first.
Yeah, Mo came first.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so they would come, on the weekends and stuff. They lived in Sacramento. We lived in Yuba City. They would come on the weekends and stuff and visit us, but Maurice moved in with us when he was about 17. And then Keisha kind of just back and forth, really.
Mhm.
She was never a
Yeah.
constant in the house. And Marcus and Maurice, they were bullies. And I don't know
Yeah.
how we didn't murder them. I don't know how we didn't murder them. Oh,
No,
my
I
God.
wanted to kill Marcus. I thought about killing him in his sleep. I hated him. I hated
Yeah.
him.
As siblings do.
No, well, yeah, it was also worse because we were 5 years apart, so we had like nothing in common. And then, of course, when everyone found out I was gay, because I got caught. It wasn't like I didn't come out and say
Oh
it.
shit.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
okay.
No, she held on
Should I
to the
tell you
secret
that
for
story?
how long?
Yeah, should I tell you that story?
Yes.
Absolutely,
Tell
yeah.
us.
So I started dating Sissy's best friend. His name was Joe, and we're like, of course, we're on the down low. We're all like, we're super trying to hide it. He's always over at the house.
Wait. Credit me
What?
for that relationship.
Oh yeah.
Matchmaker.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay,
so
that's all.
let me
I just wanted credit.
Well, I'll tell that story too. So
She made it happen
I-
and then she broke it. Just
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like, yeah. So one day we were on the computer, and the computer, if you walk through the front door, if you go like literally 5 feet, the computer's right there. So I don't know why I thought it was a good idea. Joe was on the computer, but I was sitting in his lap. My brother, no, of course it's his home, so there's no knock. He just busts in the door, stares at us, and like just starts walking and goes down the hall, just says nothing to us. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my
I was
god.
panicking.
Life
I was
over.
panicking. No, I know. And then our relationship just got worse. Like, it just
Oh,
got
no.
even more terrible. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
the worst.
And I'm
And
sure
so-
he was there under the guise that he was like hanging out with me or whatever. And they lived pretty close to us. So yeah, that was something.
Okay,
Yeah,
so and
yeah.
I'm assuming that this like relationship it's still not great. Is that correct? Still.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. I feel bad though because he tries, or he did try, and I think he kind of gave up because I wasn't having it.
Yeah.
But like me, Sissy went through many of our older years, with like kind of not having older siblings. They were just like, to put it simple, they were assholes.
Yeah.
Like they were so like, it wasn't like a typical like they're mean to us because they're older siblings. Like they were just not good brothers, like at all.
Wow.
Keisha was different, but Maurice and Marcus, like Marcus has even apologized to us for it, for being such a terrible brother.
Yeah. I mean that's like nice, but does
Right.
it change much?
And,
Right.
No, yeah, exactly, yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Marcus kind of like when we were, I'm not sure how old we were, but when he was, older already, maybe an adult, he found God, and it kind of like put a damper, or kind of like made a separation even further between all of us. In the very beginning of his walk with God, he kind of was like, I mean, I don't want to say judgmental, but I can't find a different word for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah.
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 And you know, I have a relationship with God. I have a great relationship with God, but he just kind of, he was judgmental with that, and I think that's what really hurt his relationship with Bubba. But since then, he has expressed, you know, like he feels bad. He wishes that he would have been protective of us, of, you know, things in the house, drugs, whatever, you know, and more like a big brother. And he does feel bad for that now, but I think it's just too far gone with Marcus and Cole's relationship.
Yeah.
It's just too far gone, really.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You know, I say that not everyone is going to be like our biggest fan. Not everybody's going to like connect with us. And like, you don't have to like everyone either. You know, like siblings are not like, there's a lot of family trauma that comes from our childhood. Like, even if it's extremely like minor at the time, like that shit affects us as adults. And we really have to choose like who's in our circle and who's going to be positive people in our lives, and choose like to what extent we can put up with those people. And like religion or not, you know, anybody who's judgmental towards you in any capacity is like, that's hurtful, you know what I mean? I can relate to that too, just having, you know, one of my best friends in high school was gay, and I grew up in like a Christian home, right? And I just remember my mom being like, oh, why are you friends with this person? This person is rubbing off on you, and all these things. And it was like, why does this person decide to be gay? And I really had to, like, as, you know, this like young person who really just was like, this is just my friend. I don't even think about it like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's just like, you know, that's like my best friend. Like, we have so much fun together. I can talk to them, whatever. But it was like, I saw him get bullied so much in high school, and I tried to explain that part of it to my mom. Like, why would this person choose to get bullied and ridiculed? And even like back then when we were younger, and, you know, being gay wasn't like as like common, it was a lot to explain, and just kind of feel like, wow, like, how are we Christian but we don't love other people? How are we Christian and we don't like accept others? You know, it's not our job to be judgmental. So that was a crucial part of my life too, just figuring out like, what are my beliefs? Like, do I align with this if this is how my mom feels? And that specifically took me away from being religious and everything like that. And I think it's really common in Christianity to be that way. And it's really unfortunate because, you know, people, we know that they don't choose, you know. It's like, I asked my mom, like, well, when did you choose to like guys? You know what I mean? Like, when, you know, so.
Even the idea of like common, because, right, like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it was still just as common. It was just wrapped up, right? Like, it has nothing to do with commonality. It has to do with the openness of the society. And, you know, one thing that we're kind of getting into here that I want to know both, or learn more about from both of our guests tonight is kind of the topic of religion and relationship with God. Because I know that for Dwana and I, we were in some ways very lucky through COVID, because that was a year that we got to be sisters in a way that I'll cry. I'm gonna cry.
But don't even.
I'm gonna make her cry. But in a way that we'd never been able to do before. We were actually able to spend that time together. And look, see, she's going now too. So we'll start with Cole first, since he's not crying. But how is that like relationship or God? Like, is there a place for that in your life, or is there not? And
well,
that's deep,
so
girl.
This I feel like will always be a rough subject for the rest of my life. Because I grew up going to church every single Sunday, and of course it was it's very common in Black churches to like not just talk about how being gay is wrong, but to put down any gay person that you can.
So much homophobia.
Like, it's
homophobia.
Yes, it's in the sermon. Like they say it in their like their preach up there. So
Opening statement.
yes,
Wow.
yeah. So like, it's not to be like super dark or like don't feel bad for me, but I did, of course, like most gay people, I contemplated killing myself. I thought about it a couple times, had written it down, and I kind of thought I was gonna do it, but you know, I had people like Sissy here, so like it made things a lot better. But I think if I didn't have that ground, like if I didn't have someone that was always like, oh, you know, things are gonna be okay. Like there's gonna be a life after this. I don't know. It's hard to say that I'm strong enough or weak enough to go through with it. I don't know the wording for that.
Yeah, what is the wording? Because
Yeah,
that's a
you know what I
big
mean?
concept and a whole
Yes,
other
yeah.
topic of its own. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, she attributes to me like still being here and like being okay with myself. But like again, when it comes to religion, like kind of another story is Marcus when he found God. Me and my boyfriend were finally kind of accepted by my parents, and his name was Joe, and we were laying on the couch, and then he came up behind the couch and just opened up his Bible and started reading all the verses he could. Yeah, I will never forget that, and I kind of still haven't forgiven him for it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe just not forget. Like, I don't know. He
It's
thinks he's
almost
doing
like
what's
when
right
he
for his
came
religion.
to forgive you, it's like, hey, let me take out the Bible and let me talk to you about how you're supposed to treat people. Like,
Yeah, kind of. But, you know, I give him the benefit of the doubt because Christians think they're doing what's best for them, and the religion, they're trying to save people. You know what I mean? So, you know, he's trying to make sure that I am not damned for the rest of my eternal life. So that's the best way he thought about it, I guess. But
realistically, if we all followed everyone around with the Bible, you know, we would all have to be read too. If you look at it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Everybody
so
be
it's
wearing
like,
an
who
A
are
on their
you
chest.
to
Yeah.
be the last, you know? That's traumatic though. And
yeah,
what a better, like, I mean, just the fact that you and your sister are so close and you were able to confide in her, and the pressure that you both had to keep it such a secret, but you guys were each other's rock, and just, you know, you're here today, and, you know, look how amazing life is. And it's kind of shitty right now with the pandemic, but, you know, like there's always the light at the end of the tunnel, and I think there's a lot of people that can relate to that. So I really appreciate you being open and sharing that, because that was a lot. And
oh yeah, it was really nice. She's a good sister though. She even tried to encourage me to ask out a guy that I liked in the 5th grade.
I love
All right.
it.
I don't even remember that.
It was I won't say the last name, but remember it was Freddie.
Oh, yes, I do remember.
Isn't it so
Yeah.
funny how like people like remember things about us? It's like you exist in somebody's brain that you don't even realize, like experiences or things you said. I'm like, oh, I know that girl. I remember what she said that one time, and I can like quote it word for word, and I'm like, fuck, I wonder what people say about me.
Yeah.
I think that all the time.
Because I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like, oh, remember
so
when
true.
she did this? I'm like, what do people say? But I need to just calm that down, because that's a whole nother level of anxiety that I don't
Do
need.
you guys remember when MySpace used to have the truth box, and people could like anonymously put in little like truths or whatever in there? I remember this one time.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was a thing. And I remember this one time when I was in high school and freshman year, I was like super like conceited. Okay. I came into this school, I was like hot shot
Can't
freshman
even see
point
that.
guard. I was like cute, you know, like whatever. And I remember being in actually this might have been sophomore year, because I didn't take biology freshman year. So this would have been sophomore year. And I remember that I remember that I have this memory of seeing, I didn't even watch the show, but I remember this one scene of, what was that like 90s, early thousands show at high school where, like you guys had to have freaking watched
Keep
it.
talking
Like,
about it. What is it? Boy Meets World?
no, it's not Boy Meets World.
Nickelodeon or
I
Nick
have
at Night
no
or
idea, because I didn't like watch it.
90s
It wasn't
is
something that
like,
was in my. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna remember what the show is. I'll think about it at some point at like 11 o'clock at night tonight, and I will text somebody here about it. But in any case, and in the show, like, I remember the scene of like the hot girl at school walking out with her thong out, and it was like so cool, you know. Like sex appeal so high.
Girl,
And
you
so
did
I
not.
remember, it wasn't like super bad, but I would be aware that like my thong's hanging out a little bit, you know, like gotta show the
God.
guys that I have sex appeal, you know. And wasn't even having sex at that time or anything, right? And I remember getting this truth box one day, and I'm pretty sure I know who it was. Like, I just have an inkling. I'm not going to name names, but I feel like I know who it was, and they're probably not watching this, but I hope that they are, so they know that I know that they
Name
know.
drop now.
And the truth said, I sit next to you, or like sit close to you in biology, and your thong is always hanging out in lab.
Oh my
goals.
gosh.
You're
That
like, I
is
did what
so
I
funny
came to do.
because if someone ever said that to me, I would literally transfer schools. Like,
I
I'm
was
so
like, hell yeah,
embarrassed.
I've been noticed.
Got what you wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we exit from the religion part, I do have to say, and I hope Bubba doesn't mind me sharing the story, but I remember when he went away to college, he was dating Joe, and they were kind of going through a rough patch. And I remember him coming to me, and I'll never forget, because truly, honestly, it's hard for me to connect religion and how I feel about people who are gay, lesbian, trans, blah, 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 blah. But he came to me and he said that he felt like he needed to leave Joe because he felt like he was gonna be, you know, damned and go to hell and all of these things. And that right there is, and I'm gonna get a little bit emotional, but that right there just instilled in me, like, the fact that my brother was coming to me. He loved this kid. They had a really good relationship. You know, it was so sweet. They were so sweet. They loved each other. They really did. And for him to come and say that, I think I have to leave this all behind because I don't want to go to hell, I knew right there and then that was not the God that I served.
Yeah.
The God that I serve does not believe that way, would not do that to him. And the pain that it put him through really shaped so much of what I believe when it comes to all of that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go into detail about what I think the
'Cause we'll
Bible
cry.
actually says. Yeah, and, you know, it's boring what I believe the Bible actually says about that. I don't believe that the Bible says that being gay is bad.
Me
I just really
either.
don't. I believe that it had a lot to do with rape. Anyway, I'm not going to go into all that. But I just knew at that time, like, the God, like Shelby said, or no, I think Janelle said maybe, the God that I serve is loving and loves his people, you know. And I know my brother was born this way. I don't have any thought about that whatsoever. And that really opened my eyes to, this is not the God I serve. And the God I serve, I know, loves my brother, and my brother should not have to feel that pain over something that is so beautiful. The love, you know, that they had, so beautiful. But yeah, that really opened my eyes
100%.
and helped me realize how I felt.
100%. Yeah, and I think that's
I didn't
the
actually know that.
That's the same for me too, because I'm like, you know, I look at amazing people who wouldn't ever like even hurt somebody, but because they're, you know, divorced or because they have sex before marriage or whatever, you know, it's like, oh, they're like damned. It's like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, the topic of religion is it's deep. But I think that speaks a lot to like your guys' family dynamic too, and a lot of people's, because being a child and feeling that pressure of, you know, to shape yourself in a certain way, or, you know, not just like flourishing in who you already are, a lot of that comes from our family pressure. And
oh yes,
yeah, definitely. Besides like, you know, being gay or being religious or whatever, I mean, there's a lot of family pressure regardless. And that's something that, you know, even affects me today. Like, I don't know, what do you guys think? Like, does that, I mean, obviously you guys have shared how hurt you've been in, you know, from your childhood and everything. How does that affect you guys now? Or if it doesn't, what did you do to like heal from that? family
Sissy,
pressure.
you go. We talk about this all the time, but go ahead, Sissy.
It's hard. Like I said, like we were talking about, it still affects Cole and Marcus's relationship to this day.
Right.
I don't know how much Cole wants to talk about it, but I think it also affects his relationship with his mom, my stepmom. And for me, I kind of have just, my stepmom is very strong-willed. My brother Marcus is very strong-willed, and they truly believe in what they believe in. And for me, it's just made me realize that I have to be very strong-willed on where I stand, because you're not going to talk me into saying that I believe that my brother being gay is wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love my stepmom. I love my brother Marcus more than anything. I love them so much, but you're not going to quiet me on how I feel about it, because that's
Totally.
just how I feel
Yeah.
about it. That is my truth. That is my brother's truth.
Period.
So I think it's definitely had an effect on our family. But also for me, I truly believe, and I'm sure maybe people will come after me, but I truly believe that there is, that there is no such thing as a big sin and a little sin. The Bible talks about many things, even talking about women should cover their head when they're in the temple and a church, you know what I mean? And I think that people really decipher the Bible the way they want. They translate the Bible the way they want, the way that it works for them. And I don't believe there's any such thing as a big sin or a little sin. I think that forgiveness is all that really matters. And again, I don't feel like being gay is a sin. I truly don't believe that that is what the
'Cause it's
Bible
love,
is saying.
right?
Yes.
It's love.
Yeah.
Or it's
That's
not.
what Jesus was about.
It is. And
You
if
know,
you
whatever
really
it
read the
is.
Bible, yeah. And if
Yeah.
you really read the Bible in the times, and I wish I could quote which books of the Bible, but I can't. But the times that the Bible talks about homosexuality, it is referring to an incident regarding rape, regarding unwanted penetration or whatever. And I truly feel like it had so much more to do with that than just homosexuality. And I think that if people looked into it and read the Bible, they would really understand that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's truly my belief.
And like
There's no
what
way
the
you can tell
translation
me
was,
that
if
that's
it was
wrong.
supposed to be like men laying with boys, or
Yes,
you know what I
that's what it
mean, where
was.
it's not
Yeah.
being gay, it's being a pedophile, you know,
Yes.
within the translation and things like that. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, it's really unfortunate because I feel like the Bible is oftentimes weaponized by people, and it's really not people's jobs. It's like, we could just talk about it all day, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
it's just horrible. Like, just be a fucking nice person. Like, what is this person's decision to date who they want to date in consensual relationships? How does that affect your life? Like, it doesn't. It literally doesn't. At the end of the day, like, you're not going to go to bed at night thinking, oh my God, and just be like a disgusting human being. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
If you are, you got fucking problems. But
like, I'm telling you right now, the relationship that Cole has with his partner Aaron, who I freaking love, that is
I love that.
It's just like ideal. Like, it's like you wouldn't believe the love that they have for each other, and Aaron is just so perfect for him, and Cole is just so perfect for Aaron. There is no way that my God sees that as wrong. Like, there is no way whatsoever. And there's been people, you know, just like any literature, you can translate it to whatever your motive is. Like, there's people who there's people
you
who
can take the
truly
smallest quote from like 3 sentences, and you could take 5 words, and those 5 words will be completely fucking different than what the whole 3 sentence, you know, meaning was. And then you take those 3 sentences and you magnify them by a book that's what, like 800, 900, 1,000 pages. I mean,
translated over
that has been
thousands of
translated
years.
over different languages. It's crazy.
There's people, for example, who like people who believe that the Bible says that we should all smoke weed, and they will die on that hill. You know what I mean? You can get anything. Just like if you Google whatever, you're gonna find that somewhere in Google. You know, if you search for that in the Bible, you're gonna find that somewhere in the Bible that, you know, makes whatever you're saying
you're gonna
correct.
find it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
One
Wait, what'd
thing,
you say?
I said if you go looking for something, you're gonna find it. It's like when girls go through their man's phone, or you're going through your spouse's phone. And it's
Yeah.
like, don't go do it because you're gonna find
you
something
ate
if you go
Taco Bell
looking for
on
it.
Tuesday at 3:20 and didn't tell me. Where you at?
Yeah. Sorry, Shelbs,
Yeah.
go ahead. What were you saying?
Where are my nacho fries?
Yeah, absolutely. Nacho fries are so good. Also, Taco Bell, full shade. You don't need to bring it back every 3 months to drive up your capitalist cells. Like, we will buy
Yeah.
them all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways.
Bring the Mexican pizza back. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
done.
no
I
with
think
Taco
my grandma would quote that from you.
Bell.
But yeah, so one thing that's like really cool, and like I said, in 2020 my sister and I had the first chance to like really genuinely spend time together. And one of the things that like we would do is get caught up at like 2 in the morning. And I'm a go to sleep early person. She'll stay up all night, but I like to go to bed, if I could, perfect world, like 10 p.m. at the latest. That's not been happening because I've been so busy. But anyways, that's a side note.
Isn't that the best life though? Going to bed early. I'm like,
Yeah, full rest, absolutely. And so anyways, though, so in this time that we got to spend like staying up late and talking to each other, it was really interesting because she grew up in a house with Christianity. I grew up in a house where my dad came from Catholic roots. My mom, she went to church sometimes, but basically our home was non-religious. I think we went to church, I mean, probably more than I think, but I only remember going a few times as a young child. And like the only thing I did when we were at church was I would find ways to sneak out and go sit with my dad. So I was not learning anything about God in church when I was there.
we all do.
And right? Yeah. My dad would let me sit with him until somebody came to get me, and then he'd be like, okay,
I
you
was
have to
not
go,
trying
they
to be
found
there.
you. But oh, hello, Kari. We so wish you were here. We love you so much. We absolutely
Aw.
miss you.
Hi,
Everybody say hi to my
sister.
sister.
Hi,
Hi,
Kari.
littles.
Hi,
Hi,
Lisa.
small.
Hope you feel better.
Hi, my
Yeah, I
little
hope you feel
baby,
better.
baby.
Absolutely. But one of the things that we got to like dive into was like what we believed about God. And it's amazing because from someone who grew up in a Christian household, someone who didn't, we actually have really similar beliefs on like how we regard God. And I thought that was just a really interesting, amazing connection that we could make, like with
Yes.
one being in a structure, and me, who I got all kinds of weird beliefs that I'm sure we will get into at some point in time. But in that, like, one of the things that I really do believe is that people who are homosexual, people who are transgender, those people to me are the closest to being God-like or Christ-like, because I feel like it is the ultimate show of like loving who you love and being who you are and being able to be like as close to, because I believe personally, I don't think God has a gender. That doesn't make sense to me that God would be a man. And I mean, that's a whole other thing to get into at a whole different time. But so for me, it's very much just like these people are fucking precious and they deserve all of the love that they are willing to give. And anyways, I love the whole community. Love you guys. Okay. Questions for Dwana and Kohl now.
I know, look at what this
We love you
like show has already turned
We-
into. We're literally talking about religion and we're like talking about like, oh, it's gonna be like a talk about siblings and family dynamics, and we're like sitting here talking
Already
about
going off.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that
absolutely.
has a lot to do with like, my brother's identity and me being religious. I think it does. I think it's important for people to hear that. That doesn't mean that like I myself personally, I don't agree with like religion. I don't agree with like ceremonies and like traditional type things like that. But I wouldn't call myself religious. I have a relationship with God. I love God. He loves me. I prayer is very important to me, blah 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 blah. But I don't think that religion has to go hand in hand with my relationship with God. And I think that
Right.
I truly honestly think that that is where people falter, or that's where the mistake lies, because you get your religion, which is so much of really like politics,
Yeah. Yes.
and you wrap that into sexuality and blah 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 in life. And religion is not a good thing. I mean, I'll say that religion is not a good thing. A relationship with your Lord, your God, is. like that's completely different in my eyes. I view it completely different, you know. And then what Shelby said too about people who are homosexual, who are blah 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 blah. I don't know all the letters. Don't kill me, you guys. Don't come after me. But anyway, my people.
The letters
But
kill me.
I get what you're saying about like having so much love within them, because it takes a love of yourself to be able to just say who you are, to show the world who you are. So I do feel like people who are homosexual, who are blah 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 blah, it takes a lot of love for themselves, and therefore for everybody. It's just they are full of love, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Also, I just love my gays. I mean,
Period. Some of the best people I've ever met.
So one of the things, speaking on that topic, that I know that you guys, I don't know if you guys are still doing it together, but RuPaul Drag Race, I think that you guys have had definitely like weekly nights at some point in time, probably pre-COVID, right?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not so
this
much
whole
anymore,
season-
but
Yeah, this whole season we
Yeah.
didn't get to watch together, and it wasn't the same. But yeah, we love our Rue. And also I want to say, okay, so we haven't discussed it, and I don't know how far we're gonna go into that, or if we're going to. But me and Shelby's biological mother, shout out Miss Charmaine, is very conservative, very like religious, very whatever. And I remember, when was it, Bubba, that she came down and watched Rue with us? A couple years ago, maybe?
yeah, it was on Christmas, or right?
Oh, okay. I think so.
Or around that
She
time.
watched
around
the
that
whole,
time.
she watched the whole season of RuPaul with us and loved it.
See?
Loved it. And it felt so good to have this conservative person be like
This
so
show's
enjoying
yeah,
RuPaul's
like
Drag Race.
totally. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. that's
absolutely.
awesome.
And this, I just want to shout out something that Kari actually said in chat. She said, all three of us girls have some of the same insights on God and religion, and it's crazy considering growing up apart. So for context, as was said, like, I am the middle child. I was adopted. Dwana didn't even know that I existed until we were teenagers. And Kari is the one who broke the news to her and to I both. And Kari grew up in Arkansas. So she grew up in the South and in a very conservative area where Dwana and I did not. We are both born and raised in California.
One stoplight in Little Marshall, Arkansas,
Oh,
until like
girl,
2
I
years ago.
could not.
Yeah.
It's beautiful
Very
though.
small.
no,
Wait, so
don't get me
I'm
wrong.
interested. Maybe one of you guys can answer this. How did she learn about your guys' existence then?
I mean, we probably have to wait for her to type it on Twitch right now because I don't know how she learned about my existence. I assume that she
Yeah.
learned from our mom, or I think actually she might have come across like a picture or something. And
No, that
asked
was
about it.
me.
That was
That
you.
was
Oh,
me that came
okay.
across the picture. So I came across the picture one time when I was going through my grandma's things. It was just like this cute little baby, and I was like, "Who is this little girl?" I've seen like a bunch of pictures of her, and come to find out it was Shelby. They were all acting like super sketch, like didn't want to tell me anything. And then I believe that is when Kari told me, but she had not told me, and I was really surprised because that little girl tells me everything. But I think she had already reached out to you on MySpace at that time. And I think it was actually, they were pretty close when she reached out to you and when I saw the picture. And then that's when they finally had to tell me.
So you and Kari knew of each other?
Me?
Yeah.
Kari
Oh,
and Dwana
yeah.
knew each other. They grew up with each other. So Kari
okay.
and I are kind of what they call Irish twins. If nobody's familiar with the Irish twin, it is a baby and a baby born within like roughly a year of one another. So she is 13 months younger than me. She's a December baby and I'm a November baby. And yeah, like it's crazy. Dwana had no idea, and I was just out here living life, having no idea. I always wanted sisters. It's so fun. And it's funny because I will specify that growing up, I wanted sisters. I didn't ask for brothers or anything. Like it was always
That's
sisters. And so
crazy.
for me, growing up, you know, I was an only child, thinking I had no sisters. Would have
Did you
been
want
nice.
sisters, or did you feel like you had sisters somewhere out there and you translated that into I want sisters?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like looking back and like you asking that, with the specification of like sisters, I think it's very likely that I might have somewhere in my soul known. But it wasn't. And actually, like in terms of my adoption, I will share this story. So I remember one day, and my dad, who's here, Scotty One Putt. Hi, Dad. I love you so much.
Hi,
I'll probably
Scott.
make you cry.
Hey, Scott.
I remember looking at a picture of my dad's mom one day, and like my dad used to tell me when I was growing up, he'd be like, "Oh, you look like your grandma," and things like that. You're a fucking liar. I'm just kidding, Dad. But
And still,
no, like the brown hair, the brown eyes, and I remember looking at this photo of her one day, and she was like wearing her little like nurse outfit and stuff. It was super cute, and I was just thinking like, do I really look like her? Maybe I'm adopted. And like that thought crossed my mind, and then I was like, nah, my parents would have told me if I was adopted. You fucking liars. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
oh my gosh.
But no, I definitely like don't feel that way. I never felt that way about my parents. Like one thing that people always ask me is like, oh my God, how did you react when you found out? Were you devastated? Was it hard? And like, it wasn't shit to me. Like, my parents took me to a psychologist, like roughly a week or 2 weeks after I received that message from Kari. And like, I'm there, and like my parents, like I've said, they had a tumultuous relationship. And so I'm 14. I'm like, you know what? This might be the time where they call it quits. Like, we're probably here because they're trying to break it to me that we have a divorce. Like, okay, guys, like, I've been preparing for this. Let's do it, you know? Like, I had no care in the world.
Looking at my notes.
Yeah. So I'm over, like, fucking off in a corner, like, playing with some little toy, like, game or whatever. And, oh, my dad said, I told you when you were 6 months old.
Oh my God.
That is not fair. See, I told you already.
Right, absolutely. So then you know, like they're talking to the therapist, and I'm not even listening. I'm overplaying, and then finally they're like, "Okay, Shelby, come join us." And I sit down with them, and they're like, the therapist is like, "Shelby, we have something that your parents want to tell you." And I was like, "Okay." and again, like, let me remind you guys, I was conceited, self-inflated, egotistical, all that shit, like very high sense of self.
I can't
And so I'm sitting there like, right? I know. Yeah, no. And that's why, like, well, we'll talk about that another time, Janelle, but that's why I believe in change. And so in any case, I was like, okay. And my parents are both crying, like, already. Before they even get the words out, they're fucking bawling. And and like, meanwhile, I'm sitting there like, right, like, we don't need to get that emotional, you guys, like, what the hell? And they go, we just want you to know that, like, we love you, and what we're about to tell you doesn't change that. And like, now I'll cry because now I'm like 100% more emotional than I ever was as a child. And they were like, but we adopted you. And I was like, I sat there for a second and I was just kind of quiet, and the therapist goes, do you have anything to say to that? Are you okay? Oh, my dad's crying now. He probably is, because he's the biggest teddy bear sweetheart. And I said, I was like, no, I don't really have anything to say. Like, you guys are my parents. You've raised me. I've been with you my entire life. You guys love me. I love you. Like,
wow.
What the fuck is different? Then the two things I said when we walked out, because I've always had a very good sense of when things are appropriate and when they aren't. So I did have questions. The first thing out of my mouth when we walked out was, well, I guess that explains how I didn't get any of your guys' big ass noses. And my second thing I said was, so how Mexican am I? And that was it. And that's always been it. Just like, I just want you to know my nose is perfect. You guys ain't. Like, now we understand why.
And
I know I'm
conceited.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
that's like a testament to your parents too, to like take you to a psychologist or a counselor and sit you down and do it. And I mean, there's really no right way to, I guess, break the news, but like, that's pretty healthy, right? And for you to feel so secure and just be like, you know, you guys love me. That's really like props to them for being great parents and raising you that way. I mean, that's
exactly.
Absolutely.
If there was a right way, that would be it, because they took into account how she was going to feel about that.
Yeah.
And to them, it was probably very hard because they don't want like her to feel, you know, any lack of love, any whatever, different or whatever. and they took her so that she didn't feel that way.
Yeah.
And that's got them, it's got to be harder on him, even harder on them than it even was for her. And they put her feelings first, and they took her to the
Absolutely.
psychiatrist to do that. And
100%.
Shelby's parents are amazing. And
Aw.
if I can, I will share one story about Miss Tina, who I love. Okay, so the first time I ever met Shelby, right, was her graduation dinner. I didn't go to her graduation, but the first time we met in person was I think we were at like Red Robin or something.
We did, yeah.
Yeah,
With
for
Aunt
your graduation dinner. Yes, Aunt Kathy was there. And you know, I was talking to Shelby's mom, and we were talking about just, you know, everything about adoption, blah blah blah. And she was talking about like Shelby potentially having a relationship with my mom, and Tina said, I am secure in the relationship with my daughter. There is nothing that can falter that. Nothing will change that ever, because I am secure in the relationship with my daughter. And that to me was so beautiful, because that's so true. Like, there's no reason for her to feel insecure about, you know, our biological mom having a relationship with Shelby, because she knew who she was as a mother. That's her mother. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget that about your mom. I don't know
I'm
why,
getting
but
emotional.
that felt so strong to me. Like, I don't have any insecurities in my relationship with my daughter. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Which I
Matt?
you
just
know, yes.
Come on,
I was like, yes.
Ed.
And that is so beautiful. That's beautiful, you know? I love
Totally.
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I want to add in like one thing that like can put this into context about like how strong she really does feel that is that when I had my son, you know, there is my mom that is like grandma, right? Then there's my biological mother, who for everybody who's here, I call my biological mother Charmama. So her name is Charmaine. I call her Charmama. And then there's my stepmom, whose name is Alice, so she's a grandma. Then my grandmother is still alive, so that's already 4 grandparents that are in the mix, and that's not even with me having like a partner involved in the upbringing of my child, right? So anyways, my mom is a Scorpio, I'm a Scorpio. We can get into that at some point in time. But the possessiveness that Scorpios have is fucking legit, especially in females, not necessarily as like crazy in the males, but definitely in the females. And so when my mom was like, oh, what's he gonna call me? I don't want him to call me grandma, because she didn't want to be the same as everybody else, you know? And so she is called Aku, which is grandma in Mien. And that's another thing that's, yeah, but I grew up with a lot of Mien friends, so got a lot of influence.
That's a cute
there.
name too, I feel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's special though. I mean, to have that much family is, you know, that's a big positive. I think
Being
like,
Yeah.
finding
lots
out
of
that you were adopted could have been like super life shattering.
Yeah,
So-
actually, it's funny because my cousin Nick, we grew up together mostly like when we were young, in our like very formative years. We were like brother and sister together all the time. That's my mom who raised me. That's her nephew, and so it's her brother's son. And when I told him, because he was the first person that I wanted to tell, because he was somebody who I regarded as my brother for such a long time. And he took it so, like, I didn't take it hard in any capacity. He took it so hard that he was mad at our family members. And he wasn't even the one who was adopted, but he was like, you guys lied to both of us, and how could we ever trust you guys again? And like, part of it was him sticking up for me also, but like, okay, like, cool it. Like, I'm not mad. You don't need to be mad either.
I'm
you know?
caribou.
Yeah. But
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah, that's crazy, honestly. I mean, what do you guys... Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna tell Shelbs, thank you so much for letting me be uncle to Lil Bean. I love him so
oh my
much.
gosh, you like don't even
Yeah.
have to thank me. That is like, I mean, we should be thanking you. Like,
Well, just because
right?
like I'm like I don't even know what to call like our situation. I'm like Suedo brother.
Right?
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, yeah, because like not so far removed, but like close enough. But yeah,
absolutely, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like, and that's where it's like we don't even necessarily ever talk about labels because we just fucking love each other, right? Like from the
Yes,
moment
yeah,
I met
yeah.
you,
Yeah.
like I remember
Yeah.
meeting Cole and like I didn't know really anything about him. I'm pretty sure Tesla was with me, but I'm not 100% on that. But I met Cole the first time going to a mall, and I think he worked at like a shoe store. I'm not going to name any names,
worked at
but I think he
Forever
worked at a
21.
shoe store, and
Where
like,
was this, to put this in
this-
like perspective?
Northern
Please say it.
California. We'll say,
But
in a
you
very
guys
It was
live in
in
the same
Yuba
town.
City. It was in Yuba City, and he worked at Forever 21, and no Tesla wasn't there. Move on.
damn, okay, I guess Tesla wasn't there. She thought that too, but I was like, oh, Tesla went with me.
The
No,
memory.
Tesla met Aaron at your baby shower. Aaron, Cole's partner, went with me to your baby shower.
Oh,
Aaron met
okay.
Tesla. Bubba's never met Tesla.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
yeah.
I don't know why I thought that she did,
says
but
no
yeah.
memory of this.
No memory.
in the chat.
Yeah.
Wait, so where did we first meet then?
The mall, like I think you were working, and you just like I must have been visiting Dwana for probably just a day or like a couple hours or
Mhm.
something, and we wanted to make it a point to go see you. And here comes Cole with his freaking beautiful eyebrows that he's had beautiful eyebrows for years.
Oh,
And
thank
honestly,
you.
yeah. And it was the first time I had ever like really seen like a feminine presenting gay man, right? Because like most of my
Right.
friends growing up, if they were gay, they were closeted, or they were, and like with closeting, like they were just adhering to normal clothing and presentations for men. And I was just like, damn, look at him doing what he do with those fucking eyebrows.
Oh my God.
Like, Cole, you
Oh
were
my
here
God.
in the beginning, but I already pimped you out for doing people's eyebrows. So if anybody who reaches out to you, that's my fault.
You might
No,
not
I get
so
asked all the time, but I do sissies. Yeah, I do her eyebrows. But she's
It's
the
a few
only other
weeks,
person that
so
I do.
don't. It's been a few weeks, but
No,
eyebrows
they
like
actually
the whole
still look
of it.
good. No, they look good still.
They do.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah. Yeah, I am manic about them too. Like, I'll make her check in the mirror like 5 to 10 times. Like, are you sure? Do they look good? Is there hair missing?
I
I'm
love
like,
Or
I'm
hair
gonna
out
go
of place.
home. They
Wait,
look
what do you do? Do
great.
you tweeze?
Yeah.
Do you wax? Do you thread? What do you?
I tweeze. Yeah, I tweeze. I just have a good sense of symmetry, so that's
Yeah,
about it.
that.
he does.
I wish
He
I
does.
could
Yeah.
be like that. Mine are so bad right now. Don't look at them.
He
You just
does.
No,
have to
they're
be
not.
Well, it's
Yeah.
Whew.
You ain't got the gay gene.
You gotta be gay. That's it.
Me and Cole have always joked, maybe this is a good time to talk about it. Me and Bubba have always joked that he was born in my body, the body that I was supposed to be born in, and vice versa. He has always been more feminine than me, and I have always been more masculine than him. He's always been slightly
Yes.
prettier than me, slightly.
Yes, dude.
His makeup's better than mine, beat for the gods.
beef
and
and the gods.
we always talk about that. My husband hates when I say that, but yeah, we've always talked about that. We were born in the wrong bodies.
No, literally, like,
That's
don't let the
hilarious.
tank top and the muscles fool you. I am a woman on the inside. It took Aaron years to realize it, but like, yeah, mentally, I just think like a woman. Like, I can't help it. Like, it's just how I'm wired. Yeah, it's
Those
really
bows
weird.
don't fucking work for shit, by the way. They are just
Yeah.
for looks.
They can't even open up a pickle jar. They don't do anything.
Those are for looks.
Yeah,
they're for looks
so-
only.
This actually like is kind of perfect that you brought this up because on Sunday we talked about gender roles in relationships. And so how does that fit into your life with your boy?
It's so weird because I have a like a 50s mentality of gender, like not when it comes to like trans or anything like that, but like in a partnership, I always feel like there just has to be the feminine one, there has to be the masculine one, but it goes more than that in like everyone else's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But with him, like I'm the one who shops a lot. I do my makeup every morning. I present myself well, even like if I can on my days off. Like, it's stupid, but and then he is the masculine guy who like sits around and he cuts the yard, and right now he's watching TV, not caring about anything that we're saying.
My
But
husband's not even listening to this. Anyway.
no, Aaron's only forced to listen to us because he's in the next room. But other than that, like he's a very like he's an oblivious, absent-minded man, and like I'm always right about everything, and it's factual. Like he's always like actually always wrong. It's so weird.
That's hilarious. That's great.
No, he's looking at me now, but he's literally been maybe right less than 10 times in our relationship. Honey, you're never wrong. You're never right. Anyway.
Well, this is
it.
interesting for me. I mean, you guys have been together for 11 years. What, like, can you give us some relationship advice?
I can,
Yeah,
yes.
I'd love to hear, like, what you have to say about that. Regardless of,
So,
you know, your genders or being in a gay relationship. I just want relationship
Right.
advice.
honestly, it's so plain and simple, dude. Like, I even hate saying it because everyone already knows it. It's just communication through every
So
aspect, though.
important. Yes.
No, literally, that's the only reason why in March we'll be together 11 years. That is the only reason. So he came from a family where they don't really talk about anything. Like his family is amazing, but they don't talk. Like it's just not what they do. So when we got together, and me being feminine minded, I was like, "No, you need to tell me what you're thinking." And I would get frustrated and be like, "No, stop trying to think about what you're going to tell me, and then say it right now, whatever's in your head." Like I would get so mad.
Oh,
So we kind of
wow,
worked on
yeah.
that, and then after years and years and years, he kind of just started letting me know how he feels about things without me having to like pick at
To
him for
try
it.
it out.
Try it out. Thank you. That's the word. Yeah. So then now our communication's really good. Like if something's bothering us, we'll just say it. Like we're adults. You know?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, and that's crazy too because I think that like my general assumption most of the time is that relationships that happen or start at like a young age in life, like early 20s or in the teens or whatever, like I always just kind of assume that like, oh, the likelihood is not that they're going to end up together, right? But like
Right.
you guys have been together for such a long time in those formative years, and what do you think, like aside from like the communication, like general statement, is there like a specific way that you feel like you guys have grown from that time to this time, and like I guess like what has helped that, like aside from communication? I mean, is it like empathy, or is it just like the love that exists, or you know, like what other kind of influencing factor is involved?
Yeah. It's very much D. So like all of the above. With him, I have to make sure that I am presenting things in a certain way because like if something seems like, and this is a kind of anybody, if something seems misconstrued in any way and they're taking it not the way that you're trying to say it, it can mess up the whole dynamic.
Yes.
So you have to make sure that no matter how you're saying it, and you have to make sure, gosh, though, that the way that you are trying to present it is the way that they're understanding it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this also comes from me being like a manager for so many years. But honestly, like, without making it seem trivial, you have to manage a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like it's kind of this, it's the same thing. So everything that you say, how you say it, even the time that you say it, and like when you put something off and then when you try to take action, all of that matters.
Yeah.
And every aspect, yeah.
I took a
Yeah.
communications class in college, and one thing that I actually implemented in my relationship was like learning how to argue with each other. Like there were certain times where I was like, after the argument or like after we sat down and talked about it, I was like, this really hurt me, and I need you to know that like you can't say this no matter how mad you get, because this is going to sit on my mind and like sizzle in my brain, and it just is so hurtful. So learning how to argue with each other, like setting up those boundaries was really important. And I mean, we like rarely argue as it is. I think like in my relationship our communication is really good, but it was like me pulling that out of him for so long, because it's like I just need to know what you're thinking, like so we can like, you know, go from there. But communication is so key. That's so true.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that you guys have like, you know, worked on everything. I love that. You guys have been together for 11 years. That's what I strive to be.
Oh yeah.
It's like
I mean,
together,
also, like I
longevity.
said, oh yeah, like I said, he is a man, so there is some training that needs to be done. So like he's not allowed to hang up on me. And if I
Isn't
make
there
a
always?
his competent
Speaking of
He's not
gender
allowed to
roles.
argue. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what though? That it does speak to gender norms just because everything that Cole said, yes. But then also Aaron is so manly, but also he fucking likes a clean house. Like he is a cleaner, a cooker, whatever.
Cool.
And then Cole is very much like, he's the breadwinner. So it's like it's kind of like it kind of speaks volumes to gender norms because there's not just a lot of times I'll be asked, well, who's the man, who's the woman in the relationship about my brother's relationship, and I'm like, you guys are dumb. It doesn't quite work that way.
Yeah.
You know what I
There's
mean?
two penises.
And
There's two penises.
yeah, and even though
Yeah.
yes, ultimately Cole is the woman, Aaron's the man. Aaron has a lot of traits that people would see as feminine, and Cole has a lot of traits with those fucking muscles and working a lot.
Yeah. Don't we all though?
That would
right?
be masculine. You know what I mean?
Well,
exactly.
and like also Cole is somebody who will say shit like it needs to be said. Like he will be blunt and he will call it out, and he will
Love that.
be like, he is somebody who exudes like pride and self-assuredness, and yeah, it really, seriously, I saw that little smile. But like it's true, you really do. Like you show confidence, and like whether that is like, obviously like somewhere in our brains sometimes like, oh, we're pretending, like I'm pretending to be outgoing, I'm pretending to be social, but like really after this it'll be 3 days and I'll be like, oh my god, I'm so exhausted, I don't ever want to be on screen again.
She's lying. She'll be
Oh,
texting
yeah.
me paragraphs in the morning. Ready to
yeah,
be so
literally.
social.
But yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I'm introverted, extroverted. I think Sissy is too.
Same.
yeah,
So true.
definitely.
Quincy
So
said my guy is buff as hell. I need to step my game up. That's my boyfriend.
You guys, I have to run to the potty. I have
you're
a bladder
good.
like 4-year-old. I hate that.
Good.
It's so unprofessional, but I will be right back.
You're totally
no
fine.
worries, yeah, you're fine.
You're totally fine.
Well, shoot, I was gonna direct the question at her, but I mean, if we're gonna talk about, Cole's buffness, like, what is your workout regimen? What is your diet? Like, how do you? Because I'm gonna objectify you for a second because I know that you
Go ahead.
objectify yourself, anyways.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Let's talk about them cheeks, because let me tell you, if you think you've seen a peach, you have not seen a peach, and Cole is the king. So yeah, let's hear it.
It's honestly, no, it's so weird. So like, I grew up as a skinny kid, like could not gain weight, no muscle, no anything. I don't know what it is. I started doing leg days twice a week, and for some odd reason, like I just blew up.
Oh wow.
Like, are you taking notes? Are you writing that down? Leg days twice a week.
Just blew up. Not easy.
No, like,
leg day
I actually,
equals
like-
muscles.
yeah, no, it actually does. So like, for some odd reason, like I grew so fast that I have stretch marks on like the
Wow.
bottom side of my butt and on the inside of my legs. Yeah, I just got big really fast, and
Wow.
it's weird. So like, right now I'm on testosterone, so like I'm not natural, but like that was back when I was natural. Like
Okay,
I don't know what
yeah.
happened, and then I don't know if you remember my mom's, like the way she's shaped.
I think I've met her once.
I think you have one time at least.
Yeah, and I think I want to
Yeah.
say it was our little B-boy's birthday. So I'm not sure that
Yeah.
I paid attention because
Well,
I was
yeah.
in a narcissistic relationship and I was like, what the hell is going on here? And we can get into that
Yeah.
on another day. But yeah, so I don't think that I like necessarily put that info in my brain. So
Oh, well, yeah, she's a little lady. She's short, but she holds all her weight in her butt.
oh, okay.
So like I guess like potential wise, normally when you hold fat somewhere, your genetic material usually means that your body wants to be bigger there, even whether it's muscle or fat.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't know if that's scientific, but yeah. So then I just started doing legs, and then literally my glutes just blew up. Hi, we were talking about my butt.
I hear that.
Fat ass.
Booty rocking everywhere. Oh
Well,
my
it's true,
god.
though, like, yeah, when me and sister were younger, I really didn't. I had this little bubble butt, and that was it. And then I started working out, and it just went crazy.
Yeah, he
Good
grew it the right way. He grew muscle. in his
Yeah.
butt. That's the thing is, I think a lot of people don't realize, like, you got to grow the muscle itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I
Yeah.
mean, we had Tamra on last week, and she does twerking. I don't know if you guys were there for that episode or not, but she's a twerker.
Yeah.
She's a
And
twerking instructor. Certified twerking
Yeah,
instructor.
certified.
Yeah.
I was like,
She
what? I
teaches
didn't know you
let's
were
plug her really quick. Twerk It Tam on Instagram. I think she teaches twerking classes. So
Yeah.
if you're in the Sacramento
I've never heard of
area
that.
and you want to take a twerking class, she can hook you up.
I don't
That's
know
so
if she's
cute.
doing them right now, but
No.
Right.
yeah.
She's so cute, Bubba. You would have loved her. She's so cute.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You would have loved her.
That's awesome.
So she
That's not-
also, like, her peach has grown through all of that twerk and work, for sure.
Really?
Absolutely,
Huh.
100%.
I peeped at Tamra.
Yeah,
I was
well-
like, did she?
Yeah.
No, she did.
Cole's not a
That's so
twerker, but he does got some dance moves.
Yeah, I used to go dance, but yeah, that
Oh,
was back
that's
in the day.
fun.
Yeah, it was good. It was good times. Good times. Yeah.
So now that Dwana is back, though, I did want to ask about her relationship, and I know that this is like one of those like stories where it was like there was something there, and then it was like they took a break, and then they came back. So that's like a fun dynamic. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Everything has happened really fast with my husband. So we met actually, we worked at Walmart together for a couple years, and I remember he had asked me on a date, and he was kind of like my boss. Like, not really my boss, but like he was a
shit.
supervisor. I was a department manager, but he was like a boss. And anyway, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that, blah blah blah, because I worked with him, and I just thought it'd be uncomfortable. And I also hadn't dated. I got out of a really bad relationship. I hadn't dated for like 2 years since I left that relationship, and so I just wasn't quite ready yet, Anyway, and then I got a new job. I quit Walmart, and as soon as he found out, he was like, "How about that date?" And
he was waiting, girl.
he was. And to be honest, oh my god.
Yeah,
these people
Tamra.
are probably gonna
Tamra
hate
said,
this story,
"Now
but-
you're the boss, and you are the boss." So I want to say yes, that is true.
Girl, I have been the
Yeah.
boss always, okay. But anyway, so I'll tell the story. It's kind of embarrassing and kind of, I don't know, but so I had like when I found out I got this new job, I had worked at Walmart for like 10 years of my life. I hated my job. Like I said, I just got out of a really bad relationship. I hadn't dated. Okay, and then when I got this job, for some reason I got like this boost of confidence, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna say yes to these dates all of a sudden, even though I've been saying no for 2 years to whoever asked me. So he kind of asked me at the same time that somebody else had asked me.
Oh shit.
And I was like, yeah, I said yes to both dates. Well, the other
shit.
person, yeah, I didn't know how to navigate. I had never dated, like,
Okay.
seriously. I was with my ex for like 9 years, and I was very young when I got with him. So my whole adult life, I had never really quite dated. So I didn't know how to navigate all that. So they both asked me, right? And the other guy was like, we're gonna go here at this time, this date, and I was like, okay. And then I had already told Ricardo, yes, we'll go, but we didn't have anything set up yet. So then he asked me, okay, well, let's go Sunday at this place at this time, and I was like, oh, I have a date then. Like the same time, the same place, the same day. He just happened to suggest
God.
the exact same thing, right? And I
You
was
told
like,
him you had a date? Because I would have been like,
I did.
oh, I'm going to my family dinner that night. I'm so sorry.
I didn't
It's
know what to say.
mandatory.
Yeah,
Grandma.
literally.
I don't know why I did it, but for me, I was like, I don't know how dating works. Like, is it fine that I'm going to be dating 2 people, like going out on a date with 2 people, whatever. But for me, I'm just a very honest person. I'm very open.
I love
I'm
that.
an open book.
Yeah,
I don't fucking
transparent.
care. Yes,
That's
very
dope.
much so.
Yeah.
And
She can't lie for shit, says Kari.
I can't. I cannot. I can't. I'd love to, but I can't, And for me, it's like I can't keep up with the lie. I can't remember shit either, so I can't remember a lie if I try.
Yeah, it's not that
But
you
anyway,
can't, you just don't have the memory.
no, I don't. And for me, it's like if I don't lie, then I don't gotta. If I don't do anything wrong in life, then I don't gotta lie about shit.
Yeah,
So
same.
anyway, yeah. So anyway, so I told him, I was like, well, it's kind of weird, but I already have a date, same place, same day, same time, there, And so I was like, let's do a different day, right? So he knows this date is, say, like on a Sunday with this other person, and he knows, Ricardo, my husband, knows about it. And so the night before, just last minute, he's in town working, because he lived out of town, and we worked together where I lived. And he gets off work, and he's like, hey, let's go have drinks or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. So we just casually went and had drinks, just went to like Applebee's or something like that. I was like, oh, just somewhere close, because we're going to have a couple drinks. And Cole's actually part of this story too. But anyway, so I went on that date with him, and we just had a couple drinks, whatever. I went on the date the next day with this other person, and I could only think about Ricardo the whole entire time. Because I had just had drinks with him the night before, and like all I can think about with him. Yes, and I was like, that is some game.
Right, he's smart.
I literally
he put it on you,
think
girl.
About him. Yeah, so he was, he was upset that I had already had a date or whatever with this other person, but he's like, let me get in there firsthand before that, and it worked.
And it worked.
Wow, that's
No.
dope.
I only thought about him the whole time. When I left that date, I messaged him right away, and it's just kind of been history since then. We dated for about 4 months after that, and then we broke up for like 8 months or so, maybe 10 months, 8 to 10 months, something like that. It wasn't, even though Sacramento's not that very far away. He lived in Sac, I lived in Sutter. It just wasn't working with a lot of stuff going on. Like, we weren't able to see each other enough, blah, blah, blah. I felt like I needed more dedication. We ended up getting back together. I was like, okay, well, let's just try this again. And he proposed like maybe 8 months after that, after we got back together. And then we got married last year. I'm sorry, last month.
Congrats. Yes.
Thank you. We had been engaged since February of last year. We were planning a wedding. COVID happened, and we ended up buying a house instead. But thank God. But and then we found out that my husband actually has Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer. So we just decided, you know what? I need to be able to make decisions for him if worst comes to worst. I need to be able to put him on my insurance, all that type of stuff. So we just got married. My best friend, Megan, shout out to Megan. Her brother, who I've known since I was a little kid, he married us on his little ranch. Shout out to Maple Ranch Farm in Yuba City. They have like a flower farm on their property. So he just married us, just them, or just me and him. Her brother married us, and his wife was the witness. They gave me a beautiful bouquet, and that was it. We didn't get dressed up very much. It was just us and my dog Callie, and we just did the thing. And there's truly, honestly, I believe that there is a purpose for any type of pain that you go through. And so far, what I've realized is that one of the things that was purposeful through all this pain is that we just hurried up and got married. We didn't spend a ton of money on getting married. We didn't spend any money, thanks to my best friend Megan. And we didn't have the stress of planning a wedding, because I've never been that type of girl who's like, oh, I can't wait to have my dream wedding and blah, 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 thinking about planning who's going to walk down together, and all this crap is so stressful to me. It wasn't something I was looking forward to. So honestly, just having it us and my dog on a beautiful farm out in the middle of nowhere in Yuba City was perfect. So that's our love story. And he's a brat, and
that's beautiful.
He's 5 years younger than me.
Oh my gosh,
this is his little game room. If you guys could see all his, Marvel posters,
cool.
his Marvel. This is his little game room. But
you look so
love it.
I love that man. Huh?
I said you look so professional.
Right? I'm like,
I know,
I was gonna say, look at your setup. Okay, streamer.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Well, I
Shelby
love
was like,
that.
I was gonna do it on my phone, and then Shelby's like, why don't you ask your husband? I was like, I ain't gotta ask shit. What's his is mine, and what's mine is mine.
We're married now.
Mama
This is
knew
my
that.
shit.
Thank you. Yeah.
Literally, she doesn't
Yeah.
have to ask shit. She just didn't think of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, that's my love. I truly can honestly say I won't get too mushy because I'm not quite that type. But like I said, I got out of a really bad relationship that brought me a lot of things in terms of like a relationship with my ex's kids and stuff like that I would never take back ever in life. It's a huge part of my life. But I truly never quite understood what a healthy relationship was until my husband. And I never quite understood how easy loving somebody could be.
You're gonna make me cry.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not even, But I just love my man, and
romantics.
and I'm not. I'm so not whatsoever. And I think we're different in that way. I'm sure he would like for me to be more romantic. I'm just not quite that way. But yeah, it's this whole cancer situation has been something else. But I just still praise God in all of the madness, the craziness, because his doctor told us when he told us, about the cancer, he said, if I had to ask God to have a certain type of cancer, it would be this one. And it's very treatable, and I'm very hopeful. And God has put a peace on my heart that I know my husband's going to be okay. I know this is going to be a long road with chemo and everything, but I know we're going to be all right. So.
You will be all right.
You will. Sending love and prayers your guys' way for full healing and everything. He's got a really strong, loving woman by his side, and congrats to you guys for just getting married. I think that's really beautiful that you just kind of like did it in a small way, just you guys and the dog. I'm like, that's what I want. I like throughout this whole pandemic, I've just like, because Quincy and I have been together for 5 going on 6 years, and he kind of wants like a bigger wedding just because he has a lot of family, but I have more of like a strained relationship with my family, and I would only want like maybe like 1 or 2 people there. And I like saw a lot of your story in myself, where I was like, throughout this pandemic, I'm like, let's just go to the courthouse. Like, why does it matter? We can just go do that, or we can just go to a park or something and have somebody marry us, and then we'll have like a big celebration later. So I'm like,
and use
beautiful.
COVID as an excuse.
Right.
Like, that COVID right now is such a good excuse. Like, I didn't realize I wanted this type of marriage, so we had it. Exactly. It's like, and then we started thinking like, okay, well, like maybe we'll invite his parents, my parents, but my biological mom's in Arkansas, and I'm like, if we invite one person, we have to invite this person, that person. I have a million siblings. I couldn't get married without my brother, and all my siblings if my parents are gonna come. So we were like, you know what? We just had to make everybody understand that this is just gonna be us. It's just gonna be us two.
Yeah.
This is the best way for us to do it. And after it, I felt such a relief because I realized that this is how we should have did it the whole time.
Yeah.
And everything that we needed, everything that was important to me, we had. You know what I mean? So, I mean, other than family being there, but it was, for me, it was like all or nothing. I didn't want to have just a couple family members there if we couldn't have all of them. So.
Yeah, as much as like Kohl should have been your like maid of honor,
he was gonna be a bridesmaid. We already had that planned out. Yeah. I actually, so before we bought our house, we had found the wedding venue, a place in Sutter, and we were actually going, I want to say we closed down on like a Friday. At the beginning of COVID, we closed down on like a Friday. We had an appointment Saturday to pay the deposit for the venue.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So it was like a God thing. That's how I feel about it. And instead, we spent that money on our house, and it couldn't work out better.
That is like so, what's the word for it? Like maybe like millennial of people nowadays.
Yeah, definitely,
I am young enough to be a millennial, yes.
Yes, you are. And just be like, okay, let's just put this on our house, because I mean, we've done everything we're supposed to do in life, and money is still, rent and homes are crazy expensive. And I just feel like that is the smart thing to do. Let's start our life together by doing this instead of having a big celebration that, you know.
Yeah. And it would have been, if we would have spent all that money on the wedding, it would have been for our family and friends, not for us. And it was the best time to buy, right before every lockdown,
God,
COVID,
I can't
everything
even
got
imagine.
Yeah,
It's horrible right
so
now.
Blessed.
Yeah,
it's really high. So it honestly, none of it could have worked out better. It was a blessing in disguise. You know, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that everything happens for a reason, and it happened for a reason. I'm glad it happened the way that it did.
Absolutely. I remember, I mean, there was like a few weeks where, you know, Dwana was like messaging me like, Shelby, I'm so stressed. Like, I can't imagine planning this wedding. And it was like and this is like assumption on like my perspective, right? But it was like she was feeling so much stress from the outside pressure, and like how can you like even plan like to any extent what you want when you are feeling all of this pressure from like, oh, how's this person gonna feel, how's this person gonna feel, how's this other person gonna feel? And like big freaking kudos to you for like I mean, like obviously like a situation came up that like kind of pushed you as well, but like at the end of the day, you set boundaries and you did what like you and Ricardo felt was best for you guys. And that is hard for people to do, and fucking men to you guys. Absolutely.
Thank you, yeah. It was, because Ricardo has a very big family, but what I kind of realized too, and I felt kind of bad, and I kind of feel bad thinking about it now, but I think I was putting other people before my husband too, because my husband is a very shy, reserved person, and he had expressed to me, like, even just going in front of friends and family to do our vows and all that kind of stuff, he was stressed about it, you know, and it wasn't quite what he wanted to do. So this was just truly perfect the way it worked out. And also because I've always wanted to be married before I have kids. Not that I judge anybody that's not, it's just that's always how I've seen it for myself. So for those reasons also, it just worked out so perfectly. And yes, at the end of the day, we got married because my husband has cancer, but it was meant to be this way.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that, for sure.
And at the end of the day, you guys were going to get married regardless of the cancer. All it did was change the timeline of really like of you guys doing what you felt more comfortable with doing in the first place. It gave you guys like a solid like excuse for doing what you wanted to do, you know?
Yeah, it's very true. And this is closer to a prenup because I always tell him I'm probably going to end up killing him anyway for the money. So
we'll delete that
and she watches enough serial killer shows to get away with it too.
Okay,
like, if she says that.
I remember one time my husband asked me, he's like, "You're saying all this stuff. You always say you're going to kill me and blah blah blah. Get away with it, but you can't." My husband's a big guy, and he's like, "You can't even bury my body because you can't carry my body." And I was like. If it's cut up into little pieces, I sure can.
You are crazy. I cannot. She said
don't test me.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to have to delete this episode afterwards. That way we have no remaining evidence in 15 years.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I was going to bring up, like, sibling dynamics as adults for me. I grew up with it was 3 of us, so I'm the middle child, like you, Shelby. Middle child, stand up. No, I have an older brother. He's 4 years older, and then a younger sister who's 2 years younger than me. So her and I were pretty close, but we grew up in a divorced parent situation. So my brother, at a really young age, I was like 12, decided to live with my dad full time, and so that meant my sister and I going back and forth. And as adults, my brother and I have had numerous, like, to me, really meaningful conversations, because growing up, you know, I'm with my sister 100% of the time, but I only had my brother like half the time. And I think it's really cool to look at your guys' like adult sibling dynamic, because ours, we've been able to like reconnect and heal a lot of that time that's been missed as adults, and just kind of like relate to each other, and like the things that happened as children, the trauma that happened as children. I, like, without getting too personal, like, I did see a therapist for that. I don't even think that's personal. Good. Like, we should all talk about that more.
We should all have a therapist.
What was more healing for me was talking to my older brother and being like, oh my God, like, nobody in the world understands more than him. And like, when you guys were talking about your dynamic growing up and how you guys were like super close, I just think that's really cool. And then how you guys have stayed close throughout your life into your adulthood is something I'm like, I miss my brother. I just moved out to Colorado, so it's been different. He's in California, but my brother and I are now really close, and I just think that's cool, you know, being able to be super close throughout your adulthood, and have somebody that can relate, like maybe not 100%, but a lot to exactly what you went through, because explaining the dynamics to someone like a counselor or a friend is draining sometimes. I'm like, I don't want to go through this again, and then feeling like they don't fully understand how it was or like how it affects you. So I think, you know, having a person like that, a sibling, is so important. I love your guys' relationship. It seems like you guys are like twins.
I just want to throw out too real quick that Kari actually just chimed in on the dynamics aspect in chat, and she said, dynamics from my perspective, Dwana is my mom and Shelby is my best friend. And this is so funny because I was thinking about it right before she posted that. And in our like relationship, I am the oddball out, right? Like we said, I didn't grow up with religion. I'm super like spiritual, like on borderline of weird as fuck. And and so I have like all these crazy things. I do tarot reading. I, you know, feel people's feelings. I feel people's thoughts, like things like that. And so it's funny because Kari, you know, in some ways, like she doesn't need me, right? Like she has Dwana. She's always gone to Dwana for everything. But there are certain things in Kari's upbringing where she did grow up in a, you know, Christian religious household, and yet she has a lot of the same, you know, feelings in terms of empathability, and like she maybe doesn't predict things in the way that like other people would understand the idea of prediction, but her body fucking predicts things. And I have stories of the yin yang that she has shared with me on that topic. And so she always comes to me for like the things that she feels like, spirituality that she feels like she can't explore within the like home that she grew up in. And for me, it's really interesting because when people ask me about like the dynamic in this, for me, I grew up in my life thinking I was an only child, right? And so I had a mom and I had a dad and I had friends. Catalina, who was here last time, who I've been friends with since I was 8, like she is as much a sister to me as my sisters are to me. And so for me, like I always feel this weird, like I was a missing puzzle piece to my biological family. And so I feel that, like, I remember meeting my Mimi for the first time, and like she was just like bawling. My Mimi was a crier, you know? And I remember just being like, wow, I feel like I should cry too, but like I can't relate to this feeling because I didn't know that I was missing anything, you know? And for me, it's just like all added love, added like availability to have beautiful, wonderful fucking people in my life who I could trust and believe in for anything ever. And that extends to Kohl too. Like that's somebody that I also like look up to and would trust. And like if I was having an emergency and I was like, Kohl, you're the only person I can think of right now to help me, he would fucking be there. He would figure it out.
Yes, I would. Yeah. For sure.
That.
Yeah.
And for your son to have all these aunts and uncles.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, 100%.
Kohl and Aaron are like his gunkles, his gay uncles. They have the gunkle title for all our nieces and nephews. It's funny for me because, I totally agree with Shelby. I don't want to start talking too much about Kari because that's my baby. That's like always been my little baby.
I remember her.
Yes, I named her. I was very close with. Kari, 4 years? I think it's 4 years. I'm so bad with ages, but I believe Kari's 4 years younger than me. Shelby?
So yeah, I think somewhere between, because again, like Dwana is roughly 3 to 4 years older than me, and then Kari came a year after me. So
Yeah. So I was always really close with my Aunt Carla when I was little. Still now, but when I was little, and I couldn't pronounce Carla. So when my mom had Kari and we were at the hospital, she said, what should we name her? You know, blah, blah, blah. And I would always say my Aunt Carla as Kari because I couldn't say Carla. So I said Kari. So my poor baby sister, that's her name now.
That's
For the rest of
sweet,
her life is
though.
Kari. Yeah.
That's so sweet.
And I remember my mom bringing her home, and like I wouldn't let anybody hold her. Like my mom's friends, whatever, family, like I would hold her, and you'd have to get permission to me to hold my baby, because that was my little baby, and still to this day, I feel like that is my child. I can't even explain to you. I can't explain to you the feelings I have for my baby sister. And when Shelby came into our life, and I learned that I had another little sister, it was amazing. And I kind of have the best of both worlds because on my mom's side, you know, I'm the oldest. I have Kari and Shelby. And on my dad's side, I'm the youngest.
Oh,
So
wow,
it's like
that's
I kind of have the
interesting.
best of both worlds, but
Yeah.
it's really wild how close I am with all of my siblings. All my siblings don't quite get along. You know, we talked about Cole and Marcus. My brother Maurice is kind of distant from everybody. My sister Keisha lives out of state, blah blah blah. But I have a good relationship with all my siblings, and I try to tie them together as much as possible. And I think that's part of where the relationship with like Kari and Cole and Shelby and Cole come together, because Cole has always been, he's my stepbrother, but that is my heart. Like Cole's never felt like my stepbrother, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel very blessed to have such a close relationship to all my siblings. And they are truly my heart. And I really wish Kari was here. That little girl, I love that little girl. I'm so proud of that little girl.
Aw.
And that is truly my child, my baby. It is really wild how close we all are, because her and my mom moved to Arkansas when I was like 7 or 8, like I mentioned before. You would never fucking know that I didn't grow up with her. You know, like she's just
Yeah.
my heartbeat. She's so much. It's
I
crazy.
love that.
yeah,
that.
they're
That's so
precious,
sweet.
absolutely precious.
Yeah, our
amazing.
relationship means this because we're so close. The term stepbrother like irks me.
Yeah,
Like I
Yeah, because
hate it
it's
with
so
a
like
passion.
disconnected.
yeah.
I agree.
Yes, and like
Yeah.
we're so much more than that.
So much
Like when we
more.
were little, I always wanted us to cut both of our hands and then do this.
Oh
So
my
now
God.
we were blood siblings.
Okay, wait, I got a question.
I
Did that
didn't.
come from
Yeah,
practical magic, or was that just something you came up
maybe.
on your own?
No, actually,
Was
no.
it
I think it
craft?
was practical magic.
Was it
No, I think it's
practical magic?
practical
It wasn't
magic.
craft?
I don't think
Okay.
they did
They
it in
do it in
craft.
practical magic. It's the
Yeah,
redhead and the brown haired girl, Nicole
yeah.
Kidman, Sandra Bullock. They do it. I love that movie. That's one of my
I
favorite
love
movies.
that movie. Yeah, that's a good movie.
We never actually did it, right?
No, I don't
Did we?
think so.
No,
I
I
don't
was
think so.
dead set.
If we had done it, we would have used one of your daggers that you owned.
Yeah.
Cole had many weapons as a child.
Oh,
Let me
Yeah.
tell you this one story, right?
Yes.
And it's so funny. So when we lived at our old house on Cresswell, shout out whoop whoop, we lived there for heck years. Anyway, our neighbors, they had
Oh,
kids
God.
like the same ages as us. Do you know what story I'm gonna tell about Matthew?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so there's a little boy, he was a few years older than me, maybe, lived across or next door, and he had the biggest crush on me, right? Like he was always like bugging, and like talking about I'm gonna jump off the roof for you because I love you so much. I remember Cole beating him with a staff. A staff. I said a
What?
staff. He
A
Yeah.
staff?
beat
How
him with a
did you get a
staff because he
staff?
wouldn't leave me alone.
No,
Oh
like
my god.
I fought him more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
did. So, and all to protect my sister. I was like, get away from her. But anyway, so do you remember Xena, Warrior Princess?
I was Xena on my 4th birthday for Halloween. Yes, I
Okay, so
know.
then
I am
her lover, Gabriella,
Yeah.
I had the staff. Yeah, so like I had found this huge stick. My dad sanded it down for me, and I was like, "Cool, I'm gonna swing it around." And then I remember one time he was like getting on Sissy's nerves, and I was like, "Well, here's my chance." I was like, "What?" And I just went at him, dude.
Right to the legs. Right to the legs. He went down so
Yeah.
fast.
There was that other time too, dude, where I was literally Marcus and Maurice, being the terrible brothers that they are, were like egging me on to fight him because he was probably doing something else annoying. And I was like, yeah, I don't like this guy anyway, so I'm gonna fight him. So we're just rolling around on the grass. My brothers were just there watching, and I like was beating his ass. But for my sister, I'll do anything. So I was like, yeah, cool, I'm with
We
me.
used to have like we used to make like wrestling belts, not so much Cole, but we used to have like wrestling belts that we'd make out of cardboard and wrestle in the front yard. I remember one time we made do you remember making a Mike Myers movie with Mike?
Yes, I do.
We had
That
my
was
brother's
so
friend, my brother's best friend, my brother Maurice, my older brother Maurice, who his best friend lived across the street. He was obsessed with Mike Myers, and we had this old school. He had this old school, 1990 video camera, and like I said, we lived across the street from the school, so we used to make movies. We used to go to the school and act like we were in like a Mike Myers movie.
I love it.
Oh my god!
Wait, I just need like a distinction real quick. When you guys say Mike Myers, are you guys talking about Halloween Mike Myers, or are you guys talking about? Okay, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Not like
Austin
Mike Myers.
Powers.
Yeah, dude, those movies are terrible. I wish we could find them, but yeah.
I do too. Oh,
that would
my
be
God.
epic. Can you?
No,
imagine?
literally. Yeah, it was good times. But yeah, like I said, like,
our family is very like our family's very hard to even piece together. With all our different dynamics, stepbrother. I don't have any siblings that have the same mom and same dad as me. I have so many sisters, so many brothers. I have a sister and a stepbrother and stepsister of my dad's one of my dad's older relationships, that like I don't always throw into the mix. I have so many different siblings, and I try my hardest to keep everybody together. And Christmas, I try to get everybody together, and we just weren't raised that way. So it ends up being like hard for us. My mom's side of the family is very different than like my dad's side of the family, and I try very hard because it's really important to me, like to have all of us together and for all of us to have a good relationship. It doesn't always quite work like that, but that's what happens when your dad's a hoe,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's starting traditions. I mean, it's never too late. You know what I mean? You're trying to get everybody together. If it happens, make those memories. If not, then you try.
I feel so bad though because I do not help her. So like the way that at all, dude. I actually I hate admitting this on camera, but I hate family functions with a passion. So
he's so good at them though, but he hates it.
No, like it's so weird because the way we grew up was kind of by ourselves, and our parents have actually apologized for this as well. Like they were room parents. We kind of were always by ourselves, and that kind of stuck with me. So I
our mom worked on base mom worked on base. She cut hair on base at the barbershop for many, many years. So she didn't go home till 9. Dad worked overnight for a long part of his life. So it's kind of like fend for yourself, take care of yourself for a long time.
Yeah. And there was more problems in the household, but for the most of the time they're kind of absent parents. So it was literally just me, Sissy, and then sometimes it was Keisha, and then Marcus and Maurice did their own thing, illegal things. But it kind of trailed into me as an adult, where I just don't like family time. I just don't want to do it. It seems like a chore to me, as rude as that sounds. But it takes a lot of my energy.
Like that sometimes though, because it's mentally draining, and to visit people that have not been the greatest, or haven't made an effort to repair things. I mean, even not just going to family functions. Sometimes you just don't. I'm a homebody too. I love being at home. I literally met my boyfriend gaming, and we're two
Aw.
homebodies.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I totally relate to that. But it's like I try to force myself because I end up feeling good by the end of it. Okay,
Yeah.
we made some
No,
memories or this happened,
yes.
but it can feel draining sometimes, right?
Yeah. Well, only like Aaron, he's Hispanic, he's Mexican. So you know how Mexicans are really tight knit. Like their family is like everything that they have. So of course, me trying to be a partner of 11 years, I have to try to like bring up and muster any kind of thing that I can to make sure I like do some things with his family. Yeah, because I have to be that partner, but I want to make sure they still like me. You know what I mean? So I do need to
Yeah.
show up from time to time. You know what I mean? And
But
I
his
just it
family's
makes me
like
happy.
I love Aaron's family so much, but
Yeah,
it's very similar to my husband's family. They're like, you go to an event, you hug everybody and say hello
yeah,
when you first get
yeah.
there and before you leave. Like they're
It's like a
all
whole
very close. They all like to
process.
be
Yeah.
yeah, they all like to be with each other all the time. And like I love my Haro family so much. I get along very well with my in-laws. But like Cole, I like to be by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
like to be by myself. I have to recharge that way. My mother-in-law and my husband's little brother just recently moved in with us, which has been great. But like I told my husband, sometimes I'm gonna go to the room, leave me the fuck alone, because
Yeah.
I just need to watch. I need to watch Fixer Upper. I need to watch Joanna Gaines for a little bit without anybody talking to me with my
Hilarious.
brewski and just
Yeah.
leave me alone for a little while. I
Well,
have to have
setting
that time.
boundaries is healthy. You know what I mean? Like we set boundaries for people to keep them in our lives, not to
Yes.
shoo them away.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, you even touched on that earlier without really saying that, as far as like your family regarding their religious beliefs and your relationship with Cole, right? You did set those boundaries, and yeah, I mean, boundaries are important. We all know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna
Um,
fuck with me and my brother. Like that's not.
I love
gonna
that.
happen.
You're so right or die
Yeah.
for each other. I love it.
I
Oh
just want
yeah.
to shout out really quick, you guys. Our niece's photography and Cole's background. This was from my niece Malin. She did these drawings.
Oh,
I just wanted to point out. Sorry.
those are so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. She's such a good
Very
artist.
cute.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that
Yeah.
you have them on your wall. That's so sweet.
Yeah, we had to make sure she knew that we loved her Van Gogh when she came over.
Oh,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you know that
Me-
like they walk in and they're like, oh my gosh, there it is, I made that. Like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, it's actually funny. That reminds me, okay, I have this memory, and like both of my parents, like, okay, there's a huge likelihood that this memory is false, you guys, because I was
Okay.
like 3 or 4 when this happened. So it's like very likely that this is like partly fabricated on my part, and probably like my parents' perceptions
lie,
are probably
y'all.
more on point. But I have this memory that I drew a picture one night and I showed it to my parents, and they were like not like very receptive of it. Like, you know, it's just kind of like, oh cool, good picture. And I was like, you fucking liars. And and after that I was like, you know what? Well, I mean, obviously, like, fuck wasn't in my vocabulary at 4, but like looking back on it, that's the energy that was there. And I was like, fuck this picture. I'm gonna throw this picture in the candlelight then. And so like I put it in the candlelight. And I'm like watching it burn, and I'm like, yeah, this shitty picture, bye, you know, and it gets close to my fingers, and I like, oh well, shit, like it's gonna burn me, and I drop it, and the carpet lights on fire.
Oh my god.
And
No,
my
no, no,
mom,
no.
like, I was not, I've always been like a rule follower from very, very young, like just naturally. I am not a rule breaker. I don't like getting in trouble. I don't like doing things I'm not supposed to do. So I have been grounded or spanked very seldom in my life. So of the times that I've been spanked, I fucking remember them because they were like, oh my god, I got
Dramatic.
Dramatic.
Yeah. And that was one of those times.
Oh my gosh.
I saw
that's
this
funny.
video one time, and it was like this mom, her daughter kept bringing home all her like drawings, and it was like something new every day. And so she started telling her daughter, okay, we're gonna feed it to the trash now because the trash
Oh
has
my
to
God.
eat. And I was like, that's so fucked up.
That is messed up. Oh my
But
gosh.
she was like, I'm
Oh
like,
my
what is your
God.
daughter gonna say when she realizes one day, okay, it's time to feed the trash can? I'm like,
Oh
you're
No,
my
so
God,
literally.
that's funny.
Yeah.
So I told you guys my husband's little brother is living with us. He's 10 years old, and he just started going to school out here. He brought home this drawing a few weeks ago, and I don't know what the prompt was, what he was supposed to draw. I think he's in 5th grade. But anyway, he brought this drawing home and I put it on the fridge because I was so proud. He's
Mhm.
got like people, it's like a 2-story house, right? You could see the inside of his 2-story house. There's people hanging
Oh.
in the top story. I don't know what's happening. It's like all in red, but there's like a person hanging in the top building
Oh,
or the
shit.
the the 2nd story. I was very proud, but I don't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Halloween
Kids are scary.
decorations.
Kids
are
Maybe
very
we'll
scary.
Just say it was that.
I don't know
Oh,
what he
the
was
little
thinking.
the little person hanging, did it look like you?
Yeah,
No.
right, the real
No,
question.
thank God.
They're trying
I
to send
almost
you
I
a
put
message.
it on the fridge. I kind of feel like going to get it just to show you guys, but he tried really hard.
Yeah.
I love that you
I
still
mean-
hyped him though, despite being terrified slightly.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
Valentino, is there somebody hanging up here? He was like, yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
kill that bitch.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my
kind of
god.
scary. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, that's
So
so
yeah,
funny.
just a little bit. Yeah, that's good
Just a
stuff.
little
Yeah.
bit.
That's good stuff.
Well, honestly, this has been a great conversation, you guys. This, I mean, developed, from family and dynamics and siblings and a little bit about adoption and step siblings, but we talked about so much more. And I just want to thank you guys for being here and being open and vulnerable. That was really special for you guys to share your relationship and your upbringing and have those emotional moments that I was a little emotional too, and I just met you guys. That was really sweet. But Shelby, how lucky are you to have these amazing people?
Janelle has to how many times a week do I put out the sentence, I'm so privileged? Literally in so many ways.
Aw.
I have to say it on a weekly fucking basis because
Mhm.
I have been so fucking lucky in my life. And I just want to also throw out real quick that Ricardo said, can I have my wife back? And I
Oh my
responded,
god.
no.
You guys, I don't have to kill him tonight because he told me he wasn't going to watch this and I got very angry. I didn't know how to respond to that. So,
Yeah, he's here. Yeah.
oh, he just got here the last 5
Well,
minutes.
make sure to drop a
Anyway.
follow if since you're here. No, but yeah, this was really awesome, and we appreciate you guys being here and giving us your time and just being open. And I mean, it was even helpful for me. I'm like, oh, there's light. And yeah, just being here for us as we start this new journey in this Loud, Proud, Sobbing podcast. Shelby, do you have anything else you want to add?
I mean, I just want to tell Quincy, because he also said that he would like his girl back too, and I thought we all knew that we were sharing at this point. I was under the impression we're a throuple.
Aaron,
Pretty much are at
Aaron
this
in those
point.
comments too.
No, yeah. Let me just tell you, this is the best man that I'll ever have in my life, but he hasn't asked for me at all, so you guys should feel privileged.
Hi,
You know where he
Aaron.
stands
Hi, Aaron.
now.
Can you hear me?
No, he
Aaron, what
can't
the
hear you guys.
I do want to say, you guys, I said this at the very beginning before Bubba got on, but you guys are doing such a good job. You guys are, this
Yeah.
podcast is gonna be the shit. Like,
Aw,
honestly, it's so interesting, your guys' topics, and you guys are so professional, the way you guys have been doing things. I'm proud of you, baby sister, little sister, and you guys have been doing a really good job, seriously. And I
Thank
was really
you.
appreciative to be here. Thank you.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for popping my cherry.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that I can't speak for all of
Yeah.
us, but I definitely want to see you guys again for
Yes,
some other
please
random
come
topic.
back.
Yeah.
Just we'll talk about something else. I mean, I feel like we could have dove into so many other things tonight. So
Yeah.
we could sit here.
We didn't get into
race.
race. I thought we were gonna get into race and all that
Race.
kind of stuff. We didn't even get
Let's
we didn't even get
let's
to
not.
into our half breed asses. So Yeah, next time.
Honestly, next time I really want it to be. I mean, yeah, to just add to that, we really wanted to start the podcast not really for like any type of like monetary gain, but Shelby really just had that idea to like bring people together and share our stories and hope we can relate to each other. And I think that's been the most impactful thing, and just the feedback that we've got has been amazing. And I'm just like really even honored that Shelby let me like come on in such a big way and be like, you know, her co-host. And
okay, stop being humble, because this girl is the fucking producer. Like, anytime that you guys see graphics, everything that's going on with Twitch, this is coming from this brilliant mind, and I would 100% not be able to do this without her. So don't even be out there being modest or humble, because own it, girl. I fucking love you, by the way.
I love you too. You're so sweet.
Yeah, great job, especially on those graphics. Really good job. Yeah.
Thanks,
It's also professional. It's really good.
Yeah, you guys are doing great.
Shelby's doing it too. I'm teaching her everything I know. But yeah, we just wanted to bring people together. And coming out of a pandemic, I mean, me personally, I felt so disconnected from people. As much of a homebody that I am, you know, it's really good to have like that social outlet and just relate to others or gain a new perspective on someone else's life, even if we disagree or even if we have different experiences. You know, maybe there's those people out there that can learn about like Kohl's story or learn about your guys' dynamic, who might have, you know, a viewer might have been adopted and they've, you know, been scared to reach out to their siblings, and look how much of an amazing thing it's brought for you guys. So there's so many people that can relate, and more than we realize. So thank you guys so much for being here. And
thank you.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna wrap it there. Shelbs,
I mean, everything Janelle said, we are just, I mean, like, for me, I think that the biggest word that fits right now is flabbergasted. Like, absolutely flabbergasted by everybody who supported. But we did not just, I mean, in a million years, like, we did not think we would have 11 people in here on the
13.
first, you know, 5 episodes. Oh, 13. See, I don't even know. So,
and for
Kohl,
those of you guys that aren't
Instagram
here,
and all your socials.
Yeah. Let's shout your guys.
I mean, if you want to get into it, it's not safe for work, so that's the warning.
That's fine.
But you can find me at Kohl Covet everywhere. KOHLKOVET.
If you're nasty.
We've
nasty, yeah.
Definitely nasty.
No, thank you guys for being here. I mean, yeah, we do have those live viewers, but for those of you who are watching this back, might be watching it on Twitch, we're also available on YouTube now, and hopefully in the future going to be on Spotify. So you guys can follow us pretty much everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Loud Proud Sobbing. And look forward to more conversations like this, other conversations. And thank you guys so much for being here. So much love. So I'm going to end the stream there. All right.